Good morning. I'm glad you're here. My name is Gaylen, and I'm going to be telling you the story of Advent. And it will go all the way to Christmas Day and even to the last day of Christmas. It is a long journey, and it was a long journey back then in those days. So let's get ready. And now for the story of Advent. People learned a long time ago that they needed a lot of time to get ready for a great mystery like Christmas. And so they set aside 4 weeks and called it Advent. Look, the color of Advent. Purple is the color of kings and queens as well. The people have heard a new king is coming, but he will be a different kind of king and will have a different kind of power. This king will come as a baby, born in a barn. He came long ago and is still coming now. It's a mystery. The first people who foretold the birth of the baby king were the prophets. They pointed the way. On the first Sunday of Advent, we remember those prophets. This hand shows us the way to go. This is the light. Look, here is the second Sunday of Advent. What do we see? This looks like Bethlehem, and here's a road going to Bethlehem. On the second Sunday of Advent, we remember Mary and Joseph, who traveled from their home all the way to Bethlehem. Mary was ready to have her baby. Walking was hard for her. It was slow going. Sometimes she had to ride on their little donkey, but then sometimes it felt better to walk. They arrived in Bethlehem after everyone else and began to search for shelter. Finally, because all the inns were filled, they crept into a small barn on the edge of town and settled down on the floor to rest. This is the light of Mary and Joseph and their faithful donkey. On the third Sunday, we remember the shepherds. They were out in the fields outside of Bethlehem. They watched their sheep there and protected them from the wolves. Suddenly, they saw an enormous light in the sky, way up high. It was so strong, it hurt their eyes. They were terrified. Their hearts were pounding, and then they heard singing way up in the night air, and they were even more afraid until they heard the words of the song and realized there were angels talking to them. The angels were saying, "Don't be afraid. We bring you glad tidings of great joy, peace on earth, and goodwill to everyone. A child is born. Go, hurry, run to Bethlehem to see the child who will change everything." And this is the candle for the shepherds. It's a different color. It's a rose color. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but that that's the color that honors Jesus' mother, Mary. And with that candle, we remember the shepherds. And here we find ourselves at the fourth Sunday of Advent. On the fourth Sunday, we remember the three kings who were traveling through the desert. They came from far away in the east. They were wise men, so wise that people thought they were magic and called them magi. Of all the things they understood, they knew the most about stars. They knew where each star should be in the sky and when it should be there. And because of that wisdom, they could tell people when to plant crops, or when it would be safe to travel over the sea, or when they could cross the mountain passes and not get caught in too much snow. But now they saw a different star, one they didn't know. It was a wild one. It went where it wanted to go and kept moving around. They were very curious and decided to follow that star and see where it wanted them to go. This is the candle for all three of the wise men, shining in the dark. Let's sit with these beautiful, beautiful candlelight. Look, when we come to the mystery of Christmas, everything changes to the color of pure celebration. Mary and Joseph and their faithful donkey waited at the little barn until the time was right. This is when the baby was born. Here is the Christ child. They named him Jesus. Everybody was amazed, but perhaps the most amazed of all was the cow. When she got up in the morning and went to eat some hay, she found the baby lying in her hay bin. This is the Christ candle. We light this for baby Jesus. Christmas lasts for 12 days. It starts with the birth of a baby Jesus and ends when the three kings finally get to the stable after their long journey. On the 12th day, we celebrate the arrival of the three kings who followed the star all the way. This day we call Epiphany. The three kings brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These were precious things in those days, gifts for a king. But when they looked down, they could see that this king was a tiny baby. They heard stories about him, and they wondered, as we do, about Jesus and who he really was. What were they seeing? Could this be so important? What would this baby do when he grew up? Would he say amazing things and do wonderful things? Yes, they decided, and they were filled with great joy because they knew they were understanding something very important for the first time. Aha, they said, we figured this out. That's why the church calls this day Epiphany, which means seeing something and understanding it for the very first time. We remember the prophets. We remember the Holy Family. We remember the shepherds. And we remember the three kings. Now look. I'm going to change the light of the Christ candle. Watch. It's going everywhere in the air. And even when you can't see it, you know it's there. The light fills the room with the prophets, the Holy Family, the shepherds, and the three kings, spreading through the air everywhere. And wherever you go, you can feel Christmas in the air.